and welcome back to the LFCS Talks podcast. My name is Troy Byer, and today I have another fun conversation with one of our new administrators, Caleb Jappe. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you ready?
Here. Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you nervous?
No.
No. Okay, that's very different. Many other people are nervous. I
mean, I could be nervous if you wanted me to.
No, I've known you for long enough. This is your play field. You're
Thanks.
good. Some people are nervous. You're not.
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
Anyway, moving on. So we kind of get into some questions. We're going to talk about like what brought you here, what role you have now, and get into some kind of like some stuff that'll hopefully introduce you to many that might not know who you are.
Yeah.
So you are an administrator here at the Junior Academy now.
Yes.
Could you kind of go over, okay, so we know your current role, like what's your current role? You could kind of expand on what I just said a little bit and then kind of go back, like what have you done at Literacy First? What have your roles been?
Okay, well, let's get into it. So I have a very eclectic kind of time here at LFCS. So this is my 16th year here.
Okay.
All at the JA.
Nice.
I started out, I got my multiple subject credential.
Okay.
So I started out as a 5th grade teacher. And so I taught 5th grade. I taught that for 4 years.
Nice.
I was actually up in this classroom that's like right over there. Uh-huh. And it's kind of like tucked away kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And 4 great years.
Awesome.
After that, they switched me to 6th grade.
Okay.
So 6th grade, I was teaching that. I taught that for 1 year. During that time, I started getting my master's degree. At that point, we weren't offering induction, so I had to get my master's degree to kind of like finish out my credential and clear it.
Yep.
So I was taking care of that myself. And while I was at that, I decided, I looked at all the subjects that I liked teaching, and I liked teaching math the most. Right. So I said to myself, how hard would it be to get a credential in math, like an add-on credential? So I looked it up. And actually, once you have a multiple subject credential, it's not that hard to get a math credential. Okay. So basically, you take classes, right? And then you pass the CSAT. Right. So I decided while I was getting my master's, while I was clearing my credential, I was already at school. This is like one more thing that I'd like to kind of like round out my resume. Right. So that year I was teaching 6th grade. It was my first year in 6th grade. I thought I was going to settle there for a while. Had a really fun time. But then I said to Debbie, I was like, hey, just so you know, no pressure. I'm just kind of working on something. I'm doing my master's degree and I'm getting, my add-on to teach math.
Math, single subject, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, the next year she moved me to math. So Jordan Trementozzi, she worked here for a long time. Yep. She, that year that they moved me to math, 8th grade math, was the year that she had her baby. Oh, so cool. Okay. They decided
I remember that.
Yeah, they decided it would be better for not to have an 8th grade math teacher have a baby in the middle of the year. Right. But instead have like a full math teacher. And then Jordan taught Academy that year.
Got it. I remember that year. I do.
Yeah. So I switched and I jumped straight into 8th grade math. And it was like, holy smokes, this is a big move up. So I taught 5th grade and 6th grade. And here I was jumping into 8th grade math, and I was still working on my master's degree and all these things. Okay. And that was it was a good year. I had a good time. Some of those students I'd had already in 5th grade, and it was kind of like you start to see kids in different lights. You start to have different relationships with kids because you're dealing with the same kids, but they're older. And so it's like, how do I deal with these same kids that I've already dealt with in 5th grade, but now they're older? So I was learning a lot of things that were not just like how to teach math, but like how do you relate kids? How do you relate to kids who are older? Right. So that was going on. The next year, they moved me to 7th grade Academy. So basically, Trementozzi and I flip-flopped. Okay. So she went back to 8th grade math. I went to 7th grade Academy. Got it. And so I taught that for a year. So I was, at that point, if you're counting, I was already in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and in 8th grade. So I taught 7th grade Academy for 1 year. That was a whirlwind. One thing you learn in Academy is how to do classroom management. Right. So you get a lot of classroom management, like it's very active for that. You don't have as much grading to do after class, but I would say it's even more active classroom management than you would at like a normal classroom teacher. Because a normal classroom teacher, one of the biggest weapons that they have, not weapons, but one of the biggest tools is to keep kids busy. They have work to do. In Academy, you don't have work for them to do. You have to drive them to do their own work. Right. So honestly, that was like a good learning experience for me to learn how to like keep kids busy even when I didn't have necessarily work for them to do,
right?
But driving them to look through their own stuff to find their own work.
Right.
I did
really quick. So to stop on the academy thing, because I think that I think many of our families kind of know that their 7th and 8th graders have this academy class. Yeah. Can you dig into like, okay, so what is the purpose behind academy? Just to kind of go on a little side quest here.
Yeah.
What is the academy? What are we doing with the academy this year?
Yeah, fantastic. That's a good question. So I boiled down academy to 3 words. Okay. This is the way I would tell my students so that we could all get on board. So I said, it's about productivity.
Yep.
All right. So I would say that means that you're productive. I need to make sure that you're busy, you're working on stuff, you're getting things done in this class.
Yeah.
Then I would say it's about support. Then I would tell the students, that's my job. It's my job to support you in this work. Sometimes support looks like making sure that you guys are working on your things. Sometimes support looks like I'm going to help you. Sometimes the support means I'm making you not stop talking to make sure that you are getting your work done.
Right.
And then I said the 3rd word was accountability. So accountability is like, if you're not doing your work, then I have to step in and make sure that you're getting your work done.
Got it.
But productivity support were like the main focuses and the heartbeat of what Academy is.
Right.
Okay, kids are being productive, they're getting their work done, and then the teacher's supporting them in that. Right now, as an administrator, when I look at Academy, I want to make sure that in Academy, students are doing most, if not all, of their homework.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of like a sacred time. Like you can't let kids play games. You can't let kids really expand on what they want to do.
Right.
Because if you do that, the kids will plan to not have it be productive.
Correct.
You need to have kids show up with things to do.
Right.
And it looks different throughout the day.
Yeah.
So students who show up and they have First Mod Academy, they have to know and plan out their day. And by the way, this is really good life skills.
Right.
So if you're like a student and you're looking all the stuff that you have that's like due the next day, you know that you have an hour in the morning that you can do that. So you have to manage your work. You have to say, I got 5 assignments or whatever it is. What can I do in an hour?
Right.
What can I reasonably do in an hour? Okay, not just like, I'll just leave it all. Some students will do that.
And
some students will be like, no, I'm worried. I'm going to just do it all at home. And then they'll show up and they'll be bored in Academy.
Right.
But you need to be able to learn to manage your time. That's something that we're helping the 8th graders and 7th graders do, right? In Academy.
Right.
Is like, how do you manage your time? What kind of things do you have to do?
Yeah.
How do you write a checklist? How do you look at your goals?
Right.
How do you reflect on how you did this week? Looking at grades, things like this.
So first Mod Academy, this is a great question because I actually have got some questions from my own friends who have who middle school kids or junior high kids. We don't say junior high here, 7th and 8th graders. So with the first Mod Academy, there's a lot of trust that has to be placed on the students, right? I mean that's because the typical conversation that comes at home is kid comes home from school, hey, did you get your homework done? Oh no, but I'm going to do it all in the morning, right? And that's the conversation I'm going to do it for first mod, or I'm going to do it during Academy, or I already did it during Academy. What is your advice for parents that have kids that have Academy throughout the day, specifically first mod? Because I know that's kind of tricky, right? Because your kid comes home and their kind of default is like, nah, I got Academy in the morning, but then parent goes to look at the grades, maybe months later and realize they weren't doing anything. And that's not all the time, but that has happened. And I've had those conversations. So what is your advice for parents to help their kids be held accountable for the time that they spend in Academy?
Yeah. Well, I think some good rules of thumb for something like this would be like always and nevers. So you have always and you have nevers. You say like, oh, I'm always going to do my math work in the morning. Right? Because I know the math work is always about 20 minutes.
Right.
Okay. I'll never do history in the morning. I'm never going to leave history for the morning.
Got
so
it.
you just get into those paces and routines.
Good advice.
You want to have something where you don't have to think actively about it. Right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you're a student and you're looking at your work, even that time to look and kind of like evaluate how much time it takes for you to do your work, that takes time.
Right.
So you kind of want to set up some boundaries and say like always and nevers. Yeah. For example, you could say
systems. Like I'm a big systems guy, and like
absolutely.
If you build systems for yourself, your life is more efficient. And what you just said is genius, and it's like the most successful entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders across the world do what you just said. Look, okay, what do I waste time on the morning? If you talk to certain people, they're just like, I wear a black shirt every day, and I have the same shirts in there because I don't want to waste the 30 minutes or 10 minutes figuring out what I'm going to wear in the morning. Or, you systematize the things that happen every day.
Yeah.
So kind of what I'm hearing is what parents can do for those students with Academy is have your kids know what your kids are doing and know what they plan to do.
Right.
Say, okay, what is your plan? So you always do math. And these are your 2 Academy class assignments that you're going to keep always for the Academy. These are the 3 that you do at home. Great. So have you finished? So the parents can ask, okay, so your home stuff that you're not going to do Academy is going to be history and English. Have you done history and English? Because that's what I'm going to hold you accountable to right now. Now you go to school tomorrow, I'm going to check and make sure that you did math and science. Right? I mean, is that...
That's exactly what I would say. I mean, those, like I said, it's a system and you kind of like figure that out, and every kid's different.
Absolutely.
So you might be like, well, for my daughter, if she's at home, I'd want to do that math with her. Why? Because I'm interested in that math.
You're a math teacher.
Yeah. Plus it's like something like, oh, right now I'm not teaching math. So I'm kind of excited when I get to
you want to help.
You have questions? Let me help you. But that's not every student. It's like, you might be like, oh gosh, you need to do this math somewhere else. You need to do this math, like not away from, not close. You do this at school. And so I think that's a really easy thing to do.
Cool.
Any other questions about Academy?
No, that was it. Okay, side quest. Those are very long side quests.
So
no
now
we're back into
I
Caleb.
taught 7th grade Academy.
Okay.
And then I taught 8th grade Academy for 3 years, right? The last year of Academy, I actually, half of that time, I did teach math. Because Trementosi had her second baby. Okay. So I actually stepped into the classroom and taught. So that year was literally 3 years, okay? It was 3 trimesters. Trimester 1, I taught Academy. Trimester 2, I taught math. And I took over that math role for 8th grade. And then trimester 3, that's when COVID hit.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. And COVID was like crazy. One of the things that we do in Academy is we help students finish their independent work.
Right.
While I was doing Academy, though, I was also in charge of pulling every single 8th grader and every single 7th grader. And I was working with them individually or in small groups to help them with their math. Okay. So, basically, math intervention. I was running the math intervention for 7th and 8th grade.
I remember that.
When you don't have any independent work time because everyone's at home, my job kind of evaporated. Yeah. So at that COVID year, I remember doing Zoom meetings with students, and so I would still do my small groups, and I would Zoom with them, and whether they showed up or whether they didn't, that was like sometimes up in the air, like flip of a coin. Okay. But I was still doing that math stuff with those students in small groups as best I could, but the year after that, when we really kind of settled into like what COVID looked like, 2021. Yep. Academy was not really a class that we were going to do. So Academy as a class disappeared. So, and we still had an 8th grade math teacher. So I got moved back to 6th grade. So I literally had another year where I was teaching 6th grade.
Got it.
And that was...
that was 2021, 22, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I taught, or was it 2020, 21? It was 2021. Okay. Yeah. Because COVID was 19 to 20. You're right. So 20 to 21, that's when I taught sixth grade again. Okay. It was a completely different team in 6th grade, but I'd already done it before. Some of the curriculum was the same. Some of the curriculum was new. And then everything else was different. So that whole year was kind of like topsy-turvy. Got it. We had, we kind of pioneered a lot of different ways to teach. We had students who were in 2 different groups at 6th grade. So literally I would have A students and B students. And half of my class would show up on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and half of my class would show up on Monday, Wednesdays.
And that was just the staggered thing that we had
and we
to
would,
do.
And we would alternate other Fridays.
Cool.
And the first trimester we did that. The second trimester, we had a big cohort of students who were still not ready to come back to school. Okay. And they were doing online work. And what we were doing for online wasn't working. Right. So what they did is they took all of my A students and they split them up in the other classes. And then I taught online. 6th grade.
Got it. Okay.
And that was trimester 2. Trimester 3, we took all those online kids and we brought them back to school. Yeah. And so I literally had, that was 3 years in one too. And I think what I found out is I've been in a flex role for a lot of the time. So I've been one of those people who just flexes on things, right? So it's like pivot halfway through the year, do something else. Pivot, do something else. And that's kind of like where I kind of got my, that's where I like really developed some of my skills, is just to be able to like say like, hey, this isn't working. We need to change this up.
Kind of seems like that would have been a very good experience kind of menu, I guess, to lead into administration, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just kind of, hey, problems, I'll solve it.
Yeah, right.
That is the job of an administrator, right? So the last couple of years, you were teaching eighth grade math.
Yeah, after that 6th grade year, I switched back to 8th grade math, and I've been 8th grade team lead for the past 4 years.
Okay.
And that's where I've kind of settled. So I've had 4 years of being a team lead in 8th grade and also teaching math.
Awesome.
And I finished up my master's. All these different things happened. But yeah, so that's kind of like where I am. No, that's not where I am now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I am still 8th grade team lead this year. So that is one thing that I kind of carry over from last year. But right now, I'm assistant principal. It's me and Stinson on campus. And so right now it's...
Yeah, and maintaining the 8th grade team lead is a good thing. Kim Pepin did that for a year with 5th grade when she first stepped into admin role, and it's good to add to the continuity. Yeah. And so the 8th grade kind of has some consistency with the team lead, and then you can kind of help them, coach through, and we'll figure out where we are next year. So how's the first couple of weeks first month or so of being an administrator been?
Honestly, it's been really good.
Awesome.
There's like really good parts of it, things that I really love. I love problem solving. So that's kind of like a lot of the job is problem solving.
Yep.
Sometimes to a fault, like I'd rather solve your problem than my own problems sometimes. But there's a lot of things to do. So you can be active. There's lots of proactive things that we want to do as well. And so those are fun.
Yep.
There are, like you said, there's a lot of unfamiliar things. So I like learning and I like growing. And golly sakes, there's a lot of learning to be had.
Golly sakes.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. My students used to tease me because I have all these old phrases that I'll pull out.
That's great. Okay. Yeah. My grandma, I told my mom yesterday, I'm going to start using what my grandpa used to say. He used to say, Lord help. And I'm like, I'm going to start saying that. That's my new thing. He was like, Lord help.
My grandpa.
Sound like this old guy.
My grandpa, he's 97 right now, but he says, good Scots.
That's great.
I know.
We need to bring back all that stuff.
I try to look it up. I was like, I don't even know where it comes from.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
What drew you to work at Literacy First?
Oh, gosh.
What, in the beginning, what drew you to work here? Why are you here?
Well, I think that's kind of like tied up in like why I wanted to become a teacher.
Okay.
So when I went to college, I started out as an undefined major. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I tossed around different majors. That year I became a math major, then I dropped it, decided to become something else. I ended up settling on becoming I was Christian ministries major. So I was going to Port Lemon Nazarene, and I was a Christian ministries major, and then I was like a business minor. So I was really pulled in a lot of different directions. I was not sure what I wanted to do. My dad was a pastor, and I knew I kind of wanted to be involved in ministry, but I didn't really want to make it my job.
Yep.
So my best thought of what I wanted to do was becoming a nonprofit kind of person. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the nonprofit world. And so that's the way I kind of saw myself growing and developing. When I was a senior in college, we had a class. It was one of my upper division, business classes. And they had a project for us. And they said, you need to go and interview 3 people who have the job that you want. Well, this was a problem for me because I had no idea what job I wanted, right? But I knew I wanted to go into nonprofits. Right. So there were 3 people I had to interview. The first person was a CFO of a deforestation nonprofit. So they worked with the Third World and the rainforests, tried to help people plant and grow back what they'd lost. Okay. I went and interviewed the head of HR at the blood bank. Okay. That was a completely different kind of job. But, I knew, like I said, it was, nonprofit world. And then the third one, I had to fulfill the assignment. So I had a connection in the class. Some girl that was a classmate. I can't even remember her name. But her mom, she's like, you could go interview my mom. And I was like, okay, I'll go interview your mom. And she was a principal up in Oceanside. Oh, okay. Yeah. And believe it or not, I had a conversation with her, and she inspired me. Yeah. So when I had that conversation with that principal, she inspired me. She talked to me about things. I had all these questions I was going to ask, and then I started getting really interested. You know, when sometimes it switches and you stop asking the questions you wrote down.
I'm trying to do an assignment, but then it's almost all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I care.
You're right, and now you're asking questions. I was like, not even on the list. I was like, hey, how hard is it to become a teacher? And she's like, well, actually, it's not that hard. Once you have a degree, then you just go and get your credential, and that's like depending on how long it could take. It take like a year. And then she looked at me in the face and she said, if you got your credential, I'd hire you. She said that to me, and like everything's like clicked in my brain, and like literally I'd never thought about teaching as a career. I struggled in school when I was growing up. I didn't like it. I did okay, but never was like my passion.
Right.
But then things started to line up after she said that. It really kind of, like I said, inspired me and really made me think, like, what kind of skill sets do I have? Like, I'm pretty good at a lot of things. I'm just not really special in any one thing. Let's see what else. I really liked training people.
So that's funny because I know you as kind of like the math guy.
Yeah.
That was never your thing before the math credential?
No.
Interesting.
Well, math was my strongest subject through high school.
Okay.
But believe it or not, after when I got to college, I tested out of math, and I did not take any math classes in college.
Interesting. So it wasn't like I wanted to be the math guy. Like that was not part of who you were. That's interesting. Huh.
No.
Cool.
I was a people person. So like I said, I knew I wanted to be involved in ministry, something like this. So I'm a people person. And then I said I was pretty competent in most subjects.
Okay.
Especially at like a 5th grade level. Like pretty good at all that stuff. Right. But I was good at math, but like not like I said, it wasn't like my passion to do math either.
Got it.
So anyways, I loved training people. So like in a lot of my jobs that I had, like I worked at Point Loma Seafoods. I ended up being like someone who would like train the newbies, stuff like this. I really enjoyed stuff like that. So I was like, gosh, maybe teaching could be something. And my dad was a pastor, so he had like a fair bit of teaching. And my grandfather, he was a teacher. So he was a chemistry professor. He had like 3 different master's degrees. He just was a career teacher, professor at college.
Yep.
And so he was a teacher as well.
Got it.
And so I was like, I could become a teacher.
Yeah.
I was always involved in Sunday school and teaching and training.
Wasn't the connection through Point Loma Seafood? That's how literacy first came up, right?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
It's a funny story. Sarah Butler is really my connection. Sarah Butler's really my connection.
There's multiple, which is kind of also Point Loma Seafood, kind of sort of.
Well, kind of sort of.
The family, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up and I knew the Sarah Butler. At that point, it was the Powells. So I was really good friends with the Powells. We went to church together.
Got it. Okay.
And so, believe it or not, my grandparents know their grandparents, things like this.
Yeah.
My dad actually worked for Point Loma Seafoods back in the day. Yeah, like literally when he was in college.
That's cool.
30 years before I did.
Got it. Okay.
So when I went to school with Anna. So Anna is Sarah's little sister. So at college. So we went to college together. So I knew them growing up. And why their connection to here and to there is Sarah Butler was a kindergarten teacher here.
Yep.
And Sarah Butler's uncle is also one of the managers at Point Loma Seafoods.
Yes.
And so, like literally, that was kind of a natural thing. When I decided to become a teacher, I actually did my observations at Literacy First.
Okay.
So I looked at all my teacher friends and I said, okay, who do I know that's a teacher that I could get into their classroom? Sarah Butler was one. And then she connected with some other people on the campus at the PA. And so I got to observe other people.
Cool.
Also, because I did not go to school for my undergrad, any of that was so I graduated from Point Loma. I needed to get in a credential program, but I didn't have some prerequisites.
Got it.
So I ended up taking about a semester's worth of prerequisites at San Diego State. And then I got into San Diego State's credential program. But that meant that I started in January and I would end in December.
Okay.
Because they had a program that started in January and ended in December.
So it's like mid-school year,
Yeah. So when I got my credential, I basically had like half a year where no one was really hiring full-time. And so I had a whole semester of substitute teaching.
Got it.
So I substitute taught for San Diego
Unified?
Yes, thank you. San Diego Unified. Why is it slipping my brain? So I had a whole semester of substituting at San Diego Unified and also at Literacy First.
Got it.
And gosh, that's when I solidified and really kind of like knew that I wanted to work at Literacy First.
Nice.
There were good days and bad days as a substitute teacher, as you can imagine.
Anywhere, yes.
Yes.
No matter what school you're at.
It was really hard. Yeah.
Subbing is tough, man.
Yeah. But, you know, honestly, when I was at Literacy First, there were more good days than bad.
It's great to hear.
The reason why is because we have such a good culture.
Yeah.
Right? I would have team teachers, right? So we do this team teaching kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Everyone's on the same page, right?
Yep.
And so I would have people like literally from like next door pop in and they'd say, hey, how's it going? Is everything going all right? How are these kids? How can I help you?
That's rad.
And when you are at like another public school, that's not the way it is.
Yeah.
It's not really the way. We don't try to like lift. What do they say? Like the tide that lifts all ships.
Yeah, tide lifts all ships, or like the weakest chain is the strength of the entire chain, or whatever.
100%.
So like, if
It's not like that.
You need someone needs support. Like you lift that person up because that person, the stronger they become, the stronger the entire organization becomes.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. When I was at San Diego Unified, there were some good schools and I had some good days.
Yep.
But it was not a rule. At Literacy First, it was like basically the rule is that this was good.
Cool.
And so also it was a very weird, it was 2010 when I got my job. And it was a very weird teacher market.
I remember that. You know what? Okay, so during that time was either right at the end of or right in the middle of schools all over the county and all over the country effectively pink slipping teachers because the states had been deferring payments because of the crash of 2008.
Yeah.
Like everything having to do with the economic crash, having to do with the housing market and all that kind of stuff from 2008 kind of really hit schools 2009, 2010, 2011. So I think you were right in the middle of that. So like one of the things that I think that I talk about in a documentary that we're releasing on November 6th, which I'll talk about that at the end. We've got a movie premiere coming out. But one of the things I talk about is that Literacy First with Jerry Keogh, never once, we didn't pink slip anybody. No. We didn't miss a single paycheck. Yeah. Because he masterfully made sure that we had enough money in reserves to deal with not having funding. And charter schools, unlike most public schools, cannot just borrow from the state treasury and then not pay it back. Like that's a thing that public schools can do. They just borrow from the state treasury, it's a borrowing, but then they don't pay it back. And that's how they can get away overspending their budget year after year after year after year. We cannot do that. So like, anyway, in all of that, they saw the pink slip people. We didn't.
Yeah. And so, well, that was kind of crazy. So I had a friend, and this is so, I did a whole pivot. Like I'm going to become a teacher. Right. Things like this, right? Because it's like literally my senior year of college, I decided to pivot. By the way, I was married at that point. Okay. So it's like I'm trying to develop and establish a family. I got to get a job. I got to work.
Yeah.
My wife is working full time, so it was like. Anyways, it was not easy.
I think many of us had that story where I was like, I need to get my degree. I was becoming a school psychologist. We were about to have a first kid. We're living in an apartment where it's just like, it's all, I
honestly,
some serious characters.
My suggestion is everybody needs like a crucible moment. Everyone needs some hard life.
I agree 100%.
I try to plan some hard life for my kids, right? Yeah, right. So it's like, hey, it's good to be young and broke. It's you learn how to dig yourself out, right? Totally. So here I was, coming into this market where I had a friend, he got pink slipped every year for 5 years. Oh, wow. And then hired back to teach the same job. And he never got tenure because of that. Yeah. And so when they finally, at the end of 5 years of teaching the same thing, they fired him because he didn't have tenure. Because he could never build it.
And that's kind of a game that public schools play because of the teachers union. Like they have to play this pink slip back and forth game so that they can have the freedom to let go.
It put a sour taste in my mouth for the teacher union. Yeah. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, that's how they operate.
Yeah. And so that was going on. So when I got a job here at Literacy First, I was as thankful as anything. Mm-hmm. It was like where I wanted to work, right? Because like I said, I had all this experience of like positive school culture. Yep. I also had some really negative experiences when I was at San Diego Unified. Yep. I spent like 6 weeks in Barrio Logan. And you're getting cussed at every day. Yeah. Kids, like I had one teacher say, "Hey, you're doing a good job. Kids have crawled out the windows." And I've had a teacher leave the class and just run to the office and say, "I'm not doing this anymore." And I was like, "Oh gosh." So these kids aren't learning very well, but at least I'm not running out of the classroom. Is that a win? Yeah. So I had I would be like, you know what? I'd give up. I'd give up some income to not work here.
Cool.
And
hey, so next question.
Yeah.
Which brings us, this is a great transition to the next question. What is your purpose here at Literacy First? And this isn't like, what's your job title? Like what's your purpose? Like you've talked about this, and we're kind of like beating around the edges of this. You've talked about like, you're kind of right now talking about, why you're not somewhere else. Right. What is your purpose here? Like deep down, like why commit yourself to working with youth, kids, families? Like why?
I love to see kids grow and learn. I really do. I had someone ask me, it was one of our new hires. She was like, I told her like all the different jobs that I've done. She's like, which one's your favorite year? And I was like, I really don't play favorites. Every year, the more I involve myself in like education and these kids, it doesn't feel like different.
Yeah.
Here teaching 5th grade, teaching 6th grade, teaching 7th grade, teaching 8th grade, different subjects, different things. Yeah. It's all the same. It's educating kids and kind of loving them through a year of their life, right? Another thing that changed my perspective is having my own kids. Yeah. And then you start to see like, whoa, these parents, they put so much into these children. Yeah. This is their like kind of a reflection of them. It is what they've put all their effort in. Yeah. And this is their babies.
Correct.
And
effort, heart, like
100%.
Like
passion.
My daughter is my heart. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I do it. Like,
And now we're trusting someone else to do that.
Correct.
So I see myself as one of those people who can come alongside a parent and really help them educate their kids. Yeah. And again, at the end of the day, you come with compassion, you come with love, and you start to see these kids as people and someone else's most special person. Yeah. Yeah. I like to, when I was doing circle time with my students, like last year, I would say like, hey, listen up. We're going to listen to somebody. This person, you see all these people in this classroom. Each one of them is someone else's very special person. And they're worth 30 seconds of your time.
That's awesome.
Right? You got to listen to them because they're special to somebody. And so when you start seeing is like, I'm really educating kids and kind of like loving them through, especially this time in their lives where things are very up and down. 7th grade, 8th grade, there's so many emotions that go on. Yeah. And kids are just trying to figure out life. Right. They wear like personalities like a hat. Right? One day I'll try to be like the cool kid. One day I'll try to be the goof off. One day I'll try to be the quiet person. What if I grew my hair out and covered my face? What would that be like?
Yeah, that right there, that's 7th and 8th grade in a nutshell. Like,
I know.
It's so like, who am I? How do I fit in? What can I be?
Yeah. So you start to see them as like little people, like I used to say like for 8th grade, it's like they're just little kids with big feet. Right. That's it. They're just little kids with big feet. Right. And try to keep them young.
Have you ever gone to our high school and observed freshmen the first week or so of high school?
No. I'm usually teaching the first week.
Right. Yeah. So
maybe next year.
This is something that Debbie says a lot, and I've seen this. It's hysterical. So like you watch these kids. I've seen these kids come from kindergarten to 8th grade, right? And I've seen the progression. There's many kids that I followed all the way along this whole thing. In fact, to this point, I've seen some that I've known in kindergarten that I tested, as a school psychologist that have now graduated high school. It's amazing, right? So I know these kids. And so you see these kids grow up, big dogs on campus here at the JA, think that they're doesn't stink, like cool kids. Those same kids, you watch them walk into freshman year of high school. It's hysterical how many similarities there are to a freshman in high school and a kindergartner. It's like immediately kindergartners, and they're just like, where does my backpack go? Like, where do I go? I don't know what to do.
My water bottle.
Yeah, my water bottle. It's so funny. It's really neat to watch freshmen after 8th grade. They kind of settle into start to settle in a little bit, and it's really fun to see them integrate with our high school, because it's such a sweet place for that to happen. I guess that's my point. Like you see kind of 8th graders go from 8th graders to like almost kindergartners. Yeah. But really at our school, you watch these little kindergartners just get adopted into the family with the older kids, and it's really fun. Anyway. Not sure where I said that. It was just funny.
No, it's just neat. Like, these kids are growing, and that's a huge developmental shift. One thing I've done as an 8th grade teacher is try to like help my kids like prepare for that. Yeah. So we'll have I have like these talks that I'll have with the kids at the end of the year, and it'll be like, hey guys, just to let you know, like life's going to change when you get to high school, because some of our kids don't go to our high school. I mean, I wish they were, but the truth is it's just not the path for everybody.
Not all of them.
So I try to tell the kids, like, it's more about you and less about the school. Like, who are you? Can you be a person who learns in any environment, regardless of the teacher?
Right.
You need to be that kind of person. Because teaching kids how to learn is like a big part of the job, right? There's nothing that I'm going to teach in 8th grade that they're not going to see again in high school. So them building those habits, that's kind of like, at some point, that's more important than the content.
Right.
Even though the content is important.
Yep.
But it's like building those habits, becoming that kind of person that you want to be, being a learner, and knowing, having some strategies in your back pocket so that you can be successful no matter where you are. That's important. And then I also tell the kids, like, you're going to have, like, the change from 8th grade to 9th grade can be really rough for some kids, because what happens is you lose some of those close friendships that you had. But you don't yet have close friendships for the new people that you see. So you're with new people every single day, and you don't feel as close to them as you did, and you also are feeling more distant from the people that you have. So I tell them that you really need to rely on your family. So that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, really rely on your family, because these students, you start to see, like, oh, okay, they start to have a friend is a person who's in my class all the time.
Right.
As a person I see every day. Well, now it's like friends are people that I actively seek out to have a relationship with. Because you kind of have like friends by default in 8th grade. I've hung out with this person. He's been my friend for since kindergarten, because I see him every day. But when you get to high school and you don't see him every day anymore, do you still want to be friends with him? Is he that person that you want to be your lifelong friend? Even more so is that transition from high school to college. Because some people even move away, and they don't carry any of those friendships that they had in high school. And they're finally stuck in like a freshman year of college. I don't know about you for your freshman year of college, but I think I got depressed.
Didn't go to freshman year of college.
Well, there you go.
I went to work.
I guess you didn't get depressed then.
I think we all went through that.
Well, it is kind of like, it's a weird transition in life. And you start to help kids like adjust to that. Like, hey, listen, just be ready for it. It's you gotta have friendships where like you don't see them for a month, and then they show up, and you got to pretend like nothing ever happened. Like you're just still friends. Like let them have their own life.
You'll learn who those friends are.
That's
like,
exactly.
We all have buddies or friends that you don't talk to for a year, but you talk to them, or send a text or whatever. And it's like nothing ever changed. I mean, it's just life goes on, people change, and that's okay.
But it's really hard to see that when you're a kid. I mean, this,
100%.
I think about like whole like history of the world. School is novel. In how that all happens, if you think about it. Like, how long have we been putting all peers together in one spot and having them learn together? Maybe for the past 200 years?
This is
like, if we're being generous?
This would open a huge conversation that I would love to have, and it would go on for a couple of hours, because the origin of school and why we do school in the way that we do school, and what other options there are, and like what other ways to educate there might be. I mean, that's part of why charters exist, because we get to kind of like really push the bounds of what school can be. While also we still are bound by state regulations and certain standards, which to a degree are good. Sometimes not so much. Like, as the director of special education, this is in my face every day. Because I work with the students who do not succeed well sometimes in a regular school setting. I have ADHD. So like the idea of sitting in a chair and like just staring at a teacher all day sounds like crazy making. Of course, I was homeschooled, which many people know that. And so like I was never officially, like I never had an IEP. I would have had an IEP 100% had I been in a school. The difference is I didn't need special education when I was in elementary school because my schooling was made to fit me, which was fine. Had I been in a public school, that probably would have had to be a thing. So anyway, we could go off on this conversation
to speak on
forever. Like, is it the students that have to have, special supports, or is it the school that was created that creates the issues? Because I mean, that
Yeah.
chicken or the egg, right?
I'll give you some insight from my own life on that. So, and this 100% affects the way that I see students and the way I teach, right?
Yeah.
So my grandfather's dyslexic.
Okay.
The one who was the professor of chemistry.
Yeah.
His dyslexia showed up in different ways. Like,
Yep.
He was brilliant, could read. He would read a book a week, but he couldn't spell cat.
Right.
So he also had like a bad time estimating shapes and had a really hard time like seeing how like sizes worked. And, like
there's like a visual spatial memory. That's a different kind of intelligence. Yep.
However, like I said, he was brilliant. So he had several master's degrees, read a book a week, things like this. But his like dyslexia showed up in different ways. My dad was highly dyslexic. So and there was no plan for like when my dad was going to school in the 70s, there was no plan for that.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was an English teacher and my grandfather was a chemistry professor. And here's my dad, and he can't read. So he was intelligent, he was bright, you could tell, you could have conversations with him, but then he couldn't read. And so the school system really blamed my grandmother a lot. It's like, you're not doing enough at home, you're not helping him. You say that you're working with him, but he's not learning, so it's on you. Yeah. And it got to like a breaking point, and in 5th grade, they had no other plan for my dad except for to take him out of regular school and put him in a special day class.
Wow.
And that was just, he was just dyslexic, and he just had struggle with reading, socially, completely typical. Yeah. And now he's in special day class so that they can help him read.
Wow.
And he did that for
the 70s.
Yeah. And so it's like now we have like mainstreaming where we can say like,
that's
this kid doesn't need to be removed completely from the classroom, and he doesn't need to go to completely to special day school. Yeah. We need to just give him extra supports. To help him read, because all he has is a problem with reading. Yeah,
and the research is showing, and the trend is moving even further away from special day classes altogether. Yeah, there are certain situations with those are the best case. Yeah. However, since we're here, the idea of a special day class, even for students that struggle academically significantly, you put students with all the same weaknesses in the same place, and they are learning social skills in that context, but they're not learning social skills in a context of neurotypical peers. Yeah. Well, when someone gets after school, gets to a place where they're looking to get a job and things like that, if they have not been exposed to life with neurotypical peers, how are they expected to integrate with those when it's time to like get a job and do something like that? And so we're starting to see that even up to a pretty significant line, the best way to serve students that have a lot of needs, significant needs, is actually having them most of their day, maybe not all day, but most of their day spent mainstreaming. Yeah. Because the social skills that you learn are highly valuable. Right. But then also having a significant number of pull-out support where they are getting the core at their level, whether that's reading or math and things like that. So I've really talked a lot about the philosophy of special ed on this podcast, but it certainly that is my life.
True, but it certainly makes you think differently about intelligence. Okay, because like I'd say, both my grandfather and my father were super intelligent, but they had learning disabilities. Yeah. And so when you look at a student, and like sometimes, like I said, parents like get all caught up in their kids and how their kids are like performing. Yeah. Literally, they feel like it's a reflection of them, and sometimes it's just like it's a snapshot in time. It's just right now your kid is struggling in this. Doesn't mean that they're not good at something. Doesn't mean that they won't one day be successful. Doesn't mean that they're not intelligent. It just means sometimes they struggle.
It just means intelligence all over the place. I mean, fine, whatever. So like, you've got dyslexia, you struggle to read. Okay, cool. So like, it's 2025. There's so many tools to get around that. It's crazy. When you get into the real world, like the only time that I read out loud is with my daughter, which actually has like increased my ability to read out loud, because I've done that for 9 years, and it's every night, and it's made me struggle. But like, reading out loud is not a work skill. It's an important cognitive skill to learn how to read out loud because it presses your brain. It's an additional cognitive step. However, reading is almost always done quietly. Silent reading. Silent reading is usually what you're doing if you're trying to learn information, or you can just listen to it. Yeah. Or if you're looking to write, you can use voice to text. Like, there's so many tools that can support people that are in a real job, or if they're starting a business as an entrepreneur. Like, the tools exist to help those that struggle in things that are considered like I don't know, educational taboo or educational, like, this is going to cause you to have major problems in education. But then the real world, you just step around it by listening to audiobooks, by using voice to text, by using all of these tools that are out there, using AI.
Yeah.
It's like, so, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is kind of funny you say that, right? My dad was a pastor, so he literally did read out loud for his job.
Right.
So,
so there's a way around it.
Like, but he got much better at memorization, and he got really good at being an audio learner.
Yep.
So he would be like, he'd give 100% focus in class.
That's awesome.
Because he knew he could not read the material afterwards.
Yeah. Right.
So he could absorb information just from a lecture.
Yep.
And so these kinds of things, you learn where your strengths are.
Correct.
And so, my dad did have to read out loud, but a lot of it was, he relied heavily on memorization. So when he was speaking, he didn't have to look at his notes.
Awesome. Okay, we're running close on time. That was a really cool side quest number 2 for us. What else do you want families to know? Like, what open mic? What else would you like families to know? What would you like to share to our podcast audience?
Okay, so if I would say this, I'm 100% invested in our students having the best experience.
Awesome.
I have 3 daughters here on this campus. Well, no, sorry. 2 daughters on this campus, one at the PA. Yeah. So I have 3 daughters in this school, and it's our goal as admin to support all of our teachers so that everything is good and smooth for these kids. We want to love these kids. We know that they're important to you. They're precious.
Yeah.
And we're just going to do our best to make sure that they have their best years here at Literacy First. So
that's awesome.
I would say that as a purpose, it's kind of like, I'm not a dad. I am a dad to my own kids, but you kind of you're in that role where you're trying to shepherd these kids.
Yeah.
And you're trying to help them learn and grow and bring joy. That's one thing that we're working at the JA is just bringing joy.
Awesome.
Where's that spark?
I absolutely love it.
Why can't we have kids smile? Why aren't we going to smile when we see these kids, right? Just smile.
Awesome.
You're here at school. It's a beautiful day. Look how gorgeous the weather is. Throw a football around. Kick a soccer ball.
So
have some fun, right?
Yeah.
Play some math games, right?
Just in the first month, I have watched you and Justin and you doing exactly what you're saying. You're not just saying it, you're doing this, and it's great.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm working really hard at that.
Cool. This is a great podcast.
Thank you.
A great conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it for LFCS Talks. Like I said at the beginning, Patriot Legacy Education Foundation. This is the foundation that operates for Literacy First benefit. The PLEF, the goal of PLEF is to support the teachers of Literacy First, to support the school, to support whatever Literacy First is doing. So if you're supporting PLEF, you're actually supporting the school. If you'd like to donate, you can just go to the website and donate, or you can get a hold of Patriot Legacy Education Foundation through the Literacy First website. Just go and click on PLEF, or you can look for Patriot Legacy Education Foundation. So it's kind of my side bit. And on that note, I think we're done.
Thank you.
LFCS Talks out.